This is Jilliana Ranicar-Breese, and I have the pleasure of meeting Paul Stanley. Paul Stanley is, I suppose you would say, a rum manufacturer and importer of his label, which is called Cloven Hoof. And in fact, even his T-shirt, you should have taken your jacket off.
Take it off, yeah.
It's a Cloven Hoof.
I'll take it off now.
Do you want to turn it round?
Yeah,
Get
well,
up and turn it round. Ooh.
The devil made me do it and all
The
that.
devil made you do it.
Yeah, very
okay,
good.
not
Yeah.
the devil in Miss Jones.
No.
No, that was before your time.
No, naughtier one.
Okay, Paul, tell me how you got into the business of rum.
I've always been a rum drinker and passionate about rum in general over other spirits. But I created it in a pub, basically. I got fed up of serving punters.
Oh, because you were a publican, weren't you?
That's correct, yeah. I had a pub in Oxfordshire for several years. And that's where I got to learn more about the different flavours and tastes and flavours of rum through trial and error. But decided to make my own rum, import liquid, blend it, spice it, flavour it. So I did. I did that in the pub.
I mean, were you into food and...
Yeah, it was
I mean, you know, to have knowledge of spices, I mean.
Yeah, the pub was a good pub. We were in the Michelin Guide. We had a couple of good chefs in
Oh,
the kitchen.
really?
Yeah, the larder was full of quite exotic, unusual spices. So once I'd created a good base liquid, because it's all about with spice rums a decent quality base liquid, went about using different spices that the chef used to cook with through trial and error, infusing and spicing that base liquid and trying it out on the pub customers who would give me feedback on the different concoctions that I sort of brewed up.
So were you making cocktails? Not
really, no. There was an ale-led pub with a good wine list for the restaurant. Cocktails. What I've created with Cloven Hoof is a sipping rum almost that does lend itself well to cocktails. But I wanted to create a good, neat spice rums, whereas most people associate spice rums with Coke or cocktails, I suppose. Yeah.
But you say you haven't been out to the Caribbean.
No, well, I have once. I've been to Antigua, but I haven't been to the two countries where this rum is from. I import a rum from the Diamond Distillery in Guyana, where it's distilled in an old wooden pot still and matured in oak barrels for 2 years, and blend it with a lighter rum from Trinidad. So no, I've not visited.
How come you chose those two specific rums? Were you recommended that, or...?
Most tropical countries around the world where sugarcane is grown produce rum of some sort, be that in Africa, India, or the Caribbean itself. But those two countries, Trinidad and Guyana, are associated with having a good pedigree and history in producing decent rum. So it's only natural to go to two of the good distilleries there and use their base rums as the base for Cloven Hoof. So that's what I did, and that's what I settled on after importing different styles of rum from different islands in the Caribbean and different countries in the Caribbean, because different countries have different flavour profiles. But I was aware that Guyana's good at making dark rum, quite woody, quite molassy in taste. As Trinidad, a lighter golden rum is what they're more noted for. So if you blend those two, you get quite a unique base rum.
And why did you choose the title Cloven Hoof?
Cloves were the last spice that I used to flavour the rum. I've tried lots of different spices and botanicals and fruits to flavour the rum, but the last flavour that I added together with a number of other spices was actually sort of cloves, neat cloves in a muslin bag, left to saturate and infuse the liquid. So cloves were the last rum in there, and the clove flavour comes through more than the other spices.
And what about the hoof?
Yeah, and the hoof. Well, I'm also into my sort of rock music and heavy metal, and the devil is associated with that genre of music in a irreverent sort of
Because
tongue-in-cheek.
it's got a hoof, hasn't
Yeah,
it?
tongue-in-cheek
A bit
way,
like
and the-
Bacchus.
Absolutely, yeah. And the devil's got cloven hoof feet. I didn't want to stick a pirate on the bottle. There's cloves in it, and it just sort of all pieced together.
It's
quite
a jeu
nicely.
de mots, really, isn't it?
What's a jeu de mots? So I'm not with you
A
on
play
that one.
on words.
A play on words, yeah. It is a play on words.
Yeah, it's a famous French expression that's
Yeah,
used
my
in
French
the
isn't
English
brilliant.
language.
Yeah, which I'm
Right.
not brilliant at. Yeah.
Right. So, do you export as well?
I've imported, so I have exported to Holland, yeah. So I've
Right.
sent a couple of pallets over to Holland through a company called Square Dranken, who then send bottles or cases off to, I don't know, about a dozen or so countries through Holland. So yeah, I export rather a little bit, yeah, but not massively yet.
But then you have come across the problem about the central buying.
Yes, the biggest stumbling block within the sort of rum world, when you launch a small brand with not huge bucket loads of sort of cash behind you, is competing with the bigger brands.
The big boys.
Yeah, and the rum world is specifically dominated by Diageo and Pernod Ricard, William Grant and corporates who have got existing rum brands that they spend, literally tens of millions of pounds.
Well, Pernod
propping-
is French. William Grant is...
William Grant's a Scottish-based company. I think they're on the stock exchange now. But
And the
Diageo,
third one was?
Diageo are the biggest player in the rum market.
Diageo.
Diageo, yeah, Diageo, Diageo.
Oh, don't
So
know
they
them. Are they
own-
Italian?
No, they're a British-based company floated on the FTSE 100, I believe. So they own the Captain Morgan brand,
Okay.
and they spend more on marketing and advertising that brand. So it's at the back of your mind.
But then they blend.
Yeah, they blended import. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the point I was going to make is they spend more money marketing that liquid than they do on the actual liquid itself.
But yours is not blended.
It is a blend of
two.
Yeah, so just two countries,
Yes,
Guyana and
yes.
Trinidad.
But,
The
but you
Captain-
say that on the label?
Absolutely, yes. So my general rule of thumb with any rum, to figure out if it's any good, what the quality is like, if there's genuine provenance,
Yes.
is
Provenance.
is there a country of origin
Yes.
on the bottle? So on my rum it says Guyana and Trinidad, you know where it's from. If you pick up a bottle of some of the brands that you're familiar with, it often just says Caribbean,
Yeah.
so there's no traceability and you don't necessarily know where that liquid
And
is
does
from.
Cuba export their rum?
Cuba keep most of the good rum to themselves, but export 99% of it under a brand called Club Havana, which you're probably aware of. And that is a great rum. A golden rum is what
I was going to
people-
say it's a white rum, though, isn't it?
Yeah, they do a white rum, but the biggest brands over here is the 7-year-old or 4-year-old
Yeah,
golden rum.
yeah.
So
I'm
that's
familiar with
yeah,
that.
and they do dark rums as well, but their forte is golden rums. But
And
it's
then Bacardi.
Bacardi are probably most famous for white rum.
Yeah. Of course.
White rum is obviously unaged rum, hence it's got no colour from the barrels. So Bacardi do create a good, neat, white, unflavoured rum, and I believe that's got a country of origin on the bottle, and it's a good.
I had an interest in rum because I used to, in my archive, Retrograph archive,
Yeah.
I had a section of alcohol
Right.
and labels, vintage labels from
Fantastic, yeah.
1860 to 1960.
Right.
And within the alcohol labels, I had an archive of rum labels, several
Amazing, yeah.
hundred,
Yeah, brilliant.
that I've now bequeathed to my best friend because
She's
she
very
is
lucky,
of
yeah.
Jamaican heritage.
Right. Okay.
So it's of more meaning, and the archive is now defunct.
Right.
But I sometimes see these labels, reproduced.
Right.
Um,
yeah.
The last time was in Cartagena in Colombia. I
Really?
saw these labels in a bar called Bolero,
Right.
and they were framed on the wall.
Fantastic, yeah.
Facsimiles, of course,
Yeah, yeah.
blown up.
Yeah.
But, created the atmosphere.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, because of course you see a lot of social history on the labels.
Well, you would do with the old labels, and there'd be genuine stories behind the artwork on those labels.
Slavery.
Absolutely, yeah. The problem with today's labels is they're dreamt up in a corporate boardroom. They make up mystical sea creatures, and yeah, there's no genuine story behind it.
Okay, well, thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you.